Okay, so I'm going to soak at about 74 degrees today, and everything's right at that temperature right now. Alright, so let's get our lye solution in there. It's pretty straightforward soap design, just gotta make sure I keep my steps in my head. Once again, I tend to stir this quite a bit before I even blend it. So I just reread the particulars about this watermelon fragrance, and it says that it rices, but I don't really remember it doing that much. I do remember it could possibly accelerate a little bit. So I'll just be aware to pay attention to what the soap is doing. And I am going to add the fragrance as needed, because some parts of it I don't want to have the fragrance. Like this part right here, I want it to be a light, very light green. And this does discolor a little bit. Okay, we'll put these aside for right now. I look really closely at watermelon colors, and it's not just a straightforward red. It's red, it's a little pink, it's a little orange. So that's what I mixed into this. And we'll see how close we get. So all we can do is get close to what we see in our reference material. And I always tend to do that. I think I was trained in art school to really pay attention to our subject matter. There of course are times where you stray away from that too. So that's a really great red. So sometimes you can't tell until you mix it in the soap. So I want to get this pretty thick. Kind of like a cartoony red now, but it'll cure with that slight discoloration and probably be perfect. But it will discolor a little, and as it does, it'll get closer to the real McCoy, I believe. And I'm going to blend this quite a bit because I want it to suspend the chunks of cured black cold processed soap that I made for the seeds. I could have used poppy seeds, but I wanted it to look a little bigger because watermelon seeds are bigger than poppy seeds. At least that's the look I'm going for. Okay. Nice trace going on. Let's get most of this in there. Let's see if it does rice. It's already turned the red a little bit. While I'm waiting for that to thicken a little bit, I took something that I usually cut soap scraps on. It's like a cutting board, but I cut it so that I could shape the soap with less a scraper. So I did that ahead of time. Alright, so let's get this in the mold, but let's stir in my watermelon seeds first. I cut them into little trapezoids. love a good watermelon soap, and I haven't really done that in a while. On Instagram, you might have seen my glycerin watermelon wedges. That's so much work, so I don't do it much anymore. It's so complicated, I couldn't even videotape it because it was all waiting for temperatures and going back and forth to different parts of my kitchen where I was making it. It was just too hard to reset the camera every place I moved. So, okay, enough of that. Let's put this in. Beautiful. And I want all of that in there. Okay, so I need to let that set up just a little bit. And I need to do some cleanup while I wait. I need it to be firm enough to take the shape when I scrape through it. I want to even out the top a little bit. Needs a little bit more on this side. Okay, let's do a little cleanup here. You know, I don't think I mentioned the scent in this soap room. It smells like watermelon. It smells delicious. Okay, so I'm going to take this, start dragging it through, except it's a little bit too wide, so I'm going to have to cut that a little. How I measured it. There, that'll fit. Little by little. Scrape it into this mold. You can see why I used my big recipe for this, because I know it's going to lose some of it, but that's not going to go to waste either. Okay, we'll deal with this later. I can move it. Okay, let's put this aside. I'm going to prepare my next layer, and I'm going to use the same scraper again. I think you'll see why. So this part doesn't get any fragrance because it's going to be really light green, and I don't want it to turn any colors. Blending it quite a bit. I want it pretty thick. Good. I want it a little thicker. So I'm going to continue my cleanup and let that solidify a little bit more. Okay, things have solidified a bit more. So this I'm just going to pour on. That looks great. Going to smooth that on. Trying to follow the curves of the red part. Okay, I can, since I spread that out, I can add some more, probably all this. so let's do this again. I think I should spread this out a little better first. The back of a spoon is such a good tool. Okay, now I can do this again. Instead of scraping it all off, I think I'm just going to go back the other way with this excess. Yeah, that's smart. Wastes a lot less soap to do this. Just use the excess, pull it back again. But I am going to add the excess to this too. Don't want to waste anything. So I think you can see what I'm doing with this now. I'm making the watermelon essentially upside down so I can get that curved rind. So this would be the darkest part of the rind, the very outside. I can blend these quite a bit too. It'll take a little longer because this is such a great tool, but it is not the powerful blending tool that a blender is, so it takes a little longer to get it, to force it into a thicker trace. So I mixed 3 micas together for this darker part, this dark green. Really, really dark, almost black, but not black. I still want it to look green. Just a little bit of this. Could be a little thicker, so I think I'm gonna continue with my cleanup and bring you back when this is ready. Let's see if we can blend this some more. It's thickening up. I think I want it a little thicker though, so I'll be back again. Okay, let's see how we're doing here. Yep, I'm still going to let that set up a little more. Okay, I think this is set up enough. So, I don't like to really give advice per se, but I think sometimes one of the best bits of advice that I could listen to myself is patience is a really good thing to have. Sometimes we just get too anxious to pour before things are ready, and we cut our soap when it's still too soft, but yeah, I think that would be my best bit of advice, is to just not go ahead because you need to see how it looks after it's done and get it in the mold, but really pay attention to what the soap is telling you. And if it's not ready, just, wait a little bit. So I'm going to pour this in little stripes, and it's okay if it's a little sloppy because you've seen the stripes on a watermelon. And you've noticed that it's actually really pretty irregular. So the more sloppy you do this part, the better. Actually, some areas I'm going to just put some more in the lighter green areas because that's how irregular these stripes are. Okay, and for this lighter green. It's a lighter green, but it's still darker than that lighter green area that's right up against the red fruit. You can see why I waited for this to solidify a little bit, because I didn't want it to just run down the edges. So this is actually perfect because I still want it to kind of pour off the spoon. Okay. So I am letting this part solidify a little bit too before I shape it again with that same scraper tool that I made. How are we doing here? I think we can do this. I'm going to wait. I'm going to listen to my own advice and wait for it to get a little more firm. And we'll be back again. Okay, let's see if we can do this now. Okay, I'm really curious about how this technique worked. Never really done it before with cold process soap. Actually, it was easier than doing it with the melt and pour version. But let's see how this goes. So far, so good. I'm going to cut this into wedges and have a bunch of small sample soaps. Just take a look at this. So there's the rind. There's the watermelon. Yeah, I think that worked. Gotta hold it this way to show it to you. Like a partial gel. Fun. It smells so good. I love cutting watermelon soap. So I could have made this inner rind white, but I wanted a little more color than that. And I looked at a lot of pictures of watermelons. Seems like a lot of them have a little bit of green in that rind area too, but it's very light. had some poppy seeds, but I also had some soap shavings of black soap, and I thought, well, maybe I want bigger seeds. So I'm glad I did that too. Hope you guys are doing well. Just being a little more busy with making soap lately. And just having fun. It's getting closer to conference time in May in Kansas City, Missouri, so hopefully I'll be seeing some of you there. Met a lot of people at the conferences so far. A lot of people that you may know out there who make soap videos as well. It's a nice watermelon color going on. Kind of hesitant to use a lot of red in the main body of the soap because reds tend to bleed a bit, but I think this one is as strong as I really want to make it. So the trick is to make this round rind on a cold process soap. So I like to experiment. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the purchases on the website. That's cool. Have to work double time to keep it stocked. Oops. And appreciate your comments and subscriptions, growing too. And so is the amount of viewers on Instagram, so it's all cool. A lot of people making great soap out there. So we'll see you next time. I've got a lot of soaps and soap videos to edit. And we'll see you next time. All right, take care, everyone. Bye. Okay, so first of all, I am going to cut these into wedges. I just thought I want to complete the effect, and I'm not going to waste the soap. I'll be using it or including some of that in orders as samples. So I already have marked the middle of the top of the soap, which used to be the bottom of the soap. So that'll be cut into a couple nice samples. And about Pinky back, this is for Nina. She missed Pinky. Pinky went on vacation but came back again. So let's see. And I think I will be beveling these just to make them look softer. Is the best case scenario, but I think it's worked for me. Still working on some other projects, which I will share with you when I get closer to figuring them out. Fun, fun. All right, now I'm going to be beveling these and taking pictures, and I'll be right back to show you those.